Hey guys, Tom once again for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So look who's back. So teaser here, this is just back for a day or two. Actually, it'll probably go away tomorrow. But here's the deal. So those of you that follow routinely know that these paint jobs that we're waiting on for literally 3 vehicles, so 1 bus and 2 bugs, are taking approximately 1 million times longer than they were supposed to. And this bus back here we're not actually working on at the moment because its owner is, we'll just say he's a bit delinquent on his bill, his latest bill. I'll leave it at that, but we're not going to be working on this one until things get resolved with that. So, you know, in the meantime, I'm working on the 55 Beetle, and Rafa has been working on the 71 Gia, but pretty much we're waiting on some parts. So these vents, those of you that follow know we had been waiting on those. We have some. They're done at powder coating as of this afternoon. I'll pick them up tomorrow. We can, you know, make some huge progress on this. A couple other little parts we're waiting for. This latch I mentioned before is it just doesn't work, and the owner hunted down another one, a good used one, so we'll take care of that. But anyway, the moral of the story is we're kind of running out of things to do. And that's not a good feeling. And we know I would be really pretty unnerved by that, but we've got literally 3 vehicles that should be in any day now from paint, and then we're gonna be swamped with work. So it's just kind of this weird situation where we thought we were gonna have these vehicles in some cases, you know, a month or 2 ago or more, and they just keep getting delayed. So here we are. So we're looking for something to do today. So we went ahead and brought the 69 back over, and so Rafa had some work to do. So let's talk about what he did. So he basically he pressed together the vent wings on both sides, and we put in new glass in those because they were pretty roached. And so yeah, it's all together with new seals, and then he pretty much completely built out this door. When this car came back over here today, it pretty much looked like that door, except I don't think he, even the latch mechanisms weren't in. So it looked like that door minus the latch mechanism, both doors. So today, yeah, he went ahead and built these windows here, and then he installed pretty much everything, including the barrier here. It's all in, the mechanism, everything's pretty much ready to go. So this one's basically ready to put the door panel on. And then, so today being Wednesday, Rafa's off until next Monday. So Monday when he comes in, we may have him do the same to that door, so we'll bring the car back over. We'll see. But anyway, hoping to have some of these cars back from paint here by the end of the week, and then we're going to be super busy, like I said, so we may ignore this one again because, as you can see here, lots of wiring still going on with this one with the EV system. Likewise, the air conditioning system. There's hoses all over the place that still need to be finished. But again, pretty much just brought this one over so that Rafa had something to do today. And again, the doors hadn't been built, so it's like, okay, hey, why don't we go ahead and knock those out while we're, you know, essentially looking for stuff to do because of our situation with these paint jobs. So that's pretty much what he worked on today. So let's talk about what I did. I worked on the 55 Beetle some. Pretty much wrapped up the front suspension. I had it, you know, maybe like 80% done as of yesterday, but today I went ahead and installed the shocks, installed his new sway bar here, so all that's looking really nice. Hooked up the brake hoses, you know, steering damper. So the front suspension on this one's pretty much done. I even did like kind of just a preliminary alignment just by eyeball. And here's the deal though, when I was doing the alignment on this car, again, this is a 2-inch narrow beam. And so basically that brings the wheel in 1 inch per side. And so I bought the 2-inch narrow beam, which is MP brand. And I also went ahead and bought narrowed tie rods because the tie rods may or may not be a little too wide when you install a narrow beam. And you know, it was a good idea to go ahead and put on new tie rod ends and everything. So I just bought those new narrowed tie rods. So as I was adjusting the long one, which is the passenger side one, I noticed there was a lot of thread showing. Basically, here, let me show you. So there was a lot of thread showing right here on both sides of this one, the long one. So that was true on both the outside and the inside. And it was enough that it was kind of making me wonder how much thread was still inside the tie rod. And so basically what I did was I had, you know, kind of a preliminary alignment done, and then I marked where the tie rod was, like, so the end here, I marked it with a piece of tape inside and outside, and then I removed it, and let me show you what I found. Basically, the two tie rods on that side had about that much thread engaged. So above my thumbnail, that's all that was in the actual tie rod, both the inner one and outer one. I had them even because when I put these things together, I always make sure the threads are even on the inner and outer one. But it was literally like maybe a ½ inch of thread, maybe. That made me super nervous. I was like, this is completely unacceptable that you would only have that much engagement. Honestly, I like to see at least an inch or more of engagement of these threads, because that's the whole strength of your steering, or part of the strength. And so if you really only have a few threads there, that's not good. And so I started looking at, so this is the Impy narrow tie rod. It comes as a set, so the long side, passenger side, and then the short side. So I took my handy dandy tape measure and measured the length of this, and then I compared it to the stock one that came out. And guess what? This one is actually 2 inches narrower or shorter than the stock one. The other side, the short side, was the same length as the stock one. So Impy, if you're listening, basically what they did was they narrowed the tie rod set by taking the whole 2 inches out of the passenger side, which makes 0 sense at all. You should take an inch out of both sides so that you have good thread engagement on both sides of the car. But they took the whole 2 inches out of this side, which again left a situation where, you know, there was about that much thread engaged on the inside and outside of this one. So to me, that's super dangerous. Not acceptable. I told my Impy distributor, he in turn told Impy what I found. You know, I'd sent him pictures and everything. So hopefully Impy addresses this, because my fear is that, you know, even if that ½ inch or so holds on, some people, when they put these together, they may not necessarily make sure that they have an even amount of threads on both of this thing. You can see somebody kind of putting it together willy-nilly and not sort of paying attention to that kind of detail that we actually check. But honestly, I could see somebody having like 2 or 3 threads on one side. Obviously on the other side, they'd have more than, but you know, they may just have 2 or 3 threads there. They tighten down the jam nut. They think it's all good. And then maybe they get in a situation where they have to steer real quick, or they hit a real big bump in the road. Dude, that thing's gonna pull right out. So again, hopefully Impy gets the word and corrects this and makes each side 1 inch narrower instead of taking the whole 2 inches out of the one side. Super stupid and dangerous. Hopefully they can do better. Anyway, sorry for that super long rant, but I'm kind of fired up about this because it's a legitimate safety issue. Anyway, so I put back in on this side the stock one, and was able to adjust it enough that, you know, even for the narrowed beam, it's fine. Because basically what you end up doing is threading each rod end in another ½ inch, and then there's your inch. So, and I use the new tie rod ends, of course, on the old actual tube that's in there now. So anyway, yeah, sorry for the long rant. So intern today, another great job. Basically what he started doing is he started tearing apart the, let's see what we got here. So he tore apart the fuel pump. It's all bagged here. He tore apart the carburetor. It's all bagged. He tore apart the distributor, which is around here somewhere. So we dug a really nice distributor out of our stock. And you can see here through the bag, really nice badge on this one. So we tore it apart, and then we used our ultrasonic cleaner and cleaned all the hardware. You can kind of see it there. So he's going to do the same thing to the carburetor and the fuel pump tomorrow, and then we'll probably take a big load of hardware and stuff over to zinc plating. We're starting to kind of go through tin for this motor and find nice pieces for it. We're missing a few pieces we're going to have to source. But yeah, another really good job by Jacob, our intern, today. So that is it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.